Hello guys and welcome back to a little unscheduled video here today. Reiza Studios have now released the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya in the latest public release candidate. This track will be available as a DLC for Automobilista 2, free for every Season Pass 2020 to 2022 owner, and I thought I'd do a short 50% race on this track just to show you guys the latest work of their super talented track team. I'll create this as a bit of an extra episode to my F1 2012 mini-season using the Formula Reiza spec car. I finished this series earlier this year, so feel free to check that one out as well if you haven't already. In this race, I'll be racing as Pastor Maldonado for Williams, who took probably the most surprising F1 win in the last 20 years here, and the last one to date for the Williams team. Let's see if we can repeat history here today. Please bear in mind, this is not 100% the layout used in 2012, as it already has the new turn 10, not the tighter hairpin used in 2012, and of course this track is also available in its new, old 2023 configuration without the chicane, in case you were wondering. But now, as usual, let's take a look at today's starting grid before we start this race. And already crowned world champion Lewis Hamilton starts from pole position, and alongside him it is Mark Webber. Then we have Kimi Räikkönen, Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, the hometown hero, only starting from P6. Nico Hülkenberg then in 7th. Pastor Maldonado ourselves, we will start this race from P8 just to make it a little harder for us, not starting in pole position as Pastor did that day. Felipe Massa then in 9th. Romain Grosjean completes the top 10. And then we have Nico Rosberg, Michael Schumacher, Sergio Perez, Kamui Kobayashi, Paul Di Resta, Jean-Eric Vergne, Daniel Ricciardo, Bruno Senna, Vitaly Petrov and Heikki Kovalainen for the rest of the grid. For those not familiar with the F1 2012 miniseries, unfortunately there is only 20 cars available in that spec class, so yeah, unfortunately we won't have the Marussia and HRT team available here. But now let's start this race. 5 red lights are on and it's lights out, and away we go for the 2012 Spanish Grand Prix, and we get a mediocre start. We don't lose any position, but now we're getting a good run here on Hülkenberg and Alonso ahead of us, but we're a little early on the brakes, and Felipe Massa moves past us into the turn 1 chicane here. Running a little wide, but just managed to stay on the road for that long right-hander. Behind us, Romain Grosjean putting us on the pressure already as we enter turn 5. This downhill hairpin, and we have now room to breathe as Grosjean dropped back a little bit. So now let's focus on the job ahead. Now, if you're coming back from watching the 2012 miniseries, or well, have already done so in the past, you will realize that finally we have different colors for the different tire compounds in this car class. Before they were all yellow, now we are actually on the medium tire. The others, most of them are on the softs, but when I was practicing a bit on that track, as you just see the top 10 of you at your bottom of the screen, I realized that the tire wear is pretty rough on this track as we break past Felipe Massa into turn 1 at the start of lap 2, so these standings down there are already outdated as we moved up into P8 there. Yeah, back to the tire situation. I realized that this track, and well, that is actually the case, so that's pretty good, is pretty tough on the tires, and yeah, I wanted to make it through with just one pit stop. So yeah, I decided to go with the mediums for the start of this race, and probably later on even switch to the hard tires. Now, with this Automobilista update, lots of cars actually got a physics rework, which made them feel a lot better. Unfortunately, the Formula Reiza car is not even a big part of that. So they haven't received any updated parts from the correct tire colors. But still, I feel like the Formula Reiza cars already were one of the better ones to drive, or, well, they felt very, very good, as we are now getting a good run there on Hulkenberg and Alonso. This is for P6. We move past Alonso, and now Hulkenberg as well, but he has the better line, at least for braking. Hulkenberg later on the brakes, and even Alonso stays ahead of us through turn 1. So, yeah, good racing here in these first 2 laps. But of course, we realize they won't make the job easy for us here. So to win this race, we actually have a tough job on our hands. Now lap 3, this means DRS will be activated. The first of 2 DRS zones is here after turn 9 on the run towards turn 10. We have opened our rear wing, so has Alonso ahead of us, trying around the outside of Nico Hulkenberg. This is not possible for the Spaniard. Ooh, yeah, this part of the track a bit tough. You can easily lose the grip there in turn 10. Ooh, almost running a little wide there through the infamous bit of the track that finally is gone now this year. And now, with KERS and DRS, we try to find a way past, and this time, oh, look at that run we're getting. Can we move past both of them? We're ahead of the braking zone. There they go. Oh, Alonso's still there. We make contact with Alonso. Oh, he runs a little wide through turn 1. Stays ahead of us. At least we moved past Hulkenberg. But that was hard racing between ourselves and Fernando Alonso. We feel like he gained a little bit of an advantage by cutting through the track at turn 1 and 2. But he won't let us pass, so we need to do it all on ourselves. This, of course, in the actual 2012 race, was the battle for the race win between Fernando Alonso and Pastor Maldonado. And it was really incredible, this race. I said at the beginning that this was probably one of the most surprising wins in the last 20 years. And for me it was because it didn't came through chaos or anything. It was Pastor Maldonado won that race on pure pace, at pace alone. It was nothing like Ocon in Hungary 2021 or Gasly in Monza 2020, who benefited from chaos, as we get a very, very good run there on Fernando Alonso. We move past him and up into P6 finally, and this time he can't do anything about it because, well, the speed, thanks to DRS and KERS, was so much higher than for us than it was for the Ferrari. So finally up into P6, and yeah, as I said, I think that was very, very remarkable about that 2012 victory, because for Pastor, because, well, it was on pure pace. And oh, what has happened there? A spin for a Red Bull. This is Mark Webber. What has happened there? We move up into P5 now, and we want to see what happened there. So let's look at that replay. Here he is. This is the battle for P2 between Raikkonen and Webber. Now Webber tries to move past. Raikkonen pushes him a bit out of road, and then on the grass with 2 tires, he spins his car around into the way of his teammates, and there we move past, and yeah, we're now up into P5, following Sebastian Vettel, but also still having Webber behind us. Webber gets back into 5th, and now Alonso tries to seize the opportunity. Oh, we slide a bit and are a bit surprised by Alonso down our inside. We fall off the road and even lose a spot to Nico Hulkenberg. So down in 7th we are once again, but we will get DRS on the main straight. And yeah, we should be easily able to move past Hulkenberg once again, which we are. So back into 6th. Well, that was a bit of a difficult lap, both for us and Mark Webber. a bit later, and we were catching up to the guys ahead. Alonso now in a battle with Sebastian Vettel now. Mark Webber, this is the car ahead of us. We are already in his DRS window. And let's see if we are already able to make a move on the main straight. We are very close through that chicane here. We seem to be a lot faster through there than the AI is. And now with an open rear wing, we breeze past Mark Webber, sorry, and back into P6 as Alonso just made it past Sebastian Vettel ahead of us in the battle of their own. This is for P4. So it is still Hamilton in the race lead. Raikkonen second, then Button, and then these two battling it out ahead of us. Oh, Alonso, this is almost a copycat spin there for Sebastian Vettel, like his teammate did a couple of laps ago. Alonso puts him a bit out of space, and then he almost spins on the grass. He managed to catch the car and proceed with the chase of Alonso. But yeah, that was a bit of a hairy situation once again in turn 5 for a Red Bull car. And we can take advantage of their battle ourselves, of course, because they are losing time. And look at that, Sebastian Vettel is not too far up the road either. This is now for P3 as Kimi Räikkönen already moved into the pit lane. So now this is already a battle for the podium positions. A very early pit stop for Räikkönen. Vettel tried to move past Alonso, didn't manage to do so here. Oh, yeah, dirty air coming into effect there. As we almost... well, we left the track there, but we easily managed to get back onto it. This is now the part of the track that the AI seems a bit faster here. We might even not be inside the DRS window of Alonso and Vettel here. Yeah, indeed we are not. But Sector 3, the unpopular sector, and that one that I don't really like too much about this track, which I actually enjoy driving for most of the part. Yeah. This is the one where we are actually faster than the guys ahead. And look how close we are now through that horrible chicane, but we gained so much time through there. And yeah, now we might even be able to attack them. This is Vettel ahead of us, and look at the pace differential here. And we even move past both of them, and we are up into P3 now. Now, of course, we will see where we come out after the pit stops. It will be very interesting if that strategy works for Raikkonen with the early pit stop, but we will only see that later in the race. For now, let's continue with our hunt for P2 and Jenson Button ahead of us. But as you can see here, Button now also goes into the pit lane for probably his one and only pit stop in this race. This is Lewis Hamilton in the race lead. In the background you can see us coming around the final corner, about 3 seconds behind Hamilton here in lap 16, so pretty much the halfway point of this race here. And look at what happens into turn 1. Hamilton almost loses the car under braking, and that of course has gained us a lot of time, so we are now a lot closer to Lewis Hamilton, and we might now be in strong undercut territory. This is our perspective now once again, and the car ahead, this is Hamilton of course. Now we decide to go in for a pit stop for hard tires this lap. and see if we can make the undercut work on Hamilton. We're not inside his DRS window yet. It will be interesting to see if Hamilton comes in this lap as well. It would make sense, I guess, because yeah, it looks like he's a bit struggling on tires, and that slide through turn 1 certainly would have helped or increased his tire life. He's on the softs even, so yeah, even all the more reason for Lewis to come in. But let's see what he does. He stays to the left, so he stays out for at least another lap as we move into the pit lane. And, well, really terrible braking here by me. Very, very cautious entry to the pit lane because, yeah, not sure where the speed limit began. But better safe than sorry, as we now get these new tires. Pit stop too fast for the animation, but with 2.8 seconds we are back out on the track on hard tires, and that is now unlucky because a group of cars, both Mercedes and a Sauber, I think that is Sergio Perez, now ahead of us, and we will catch up to them pretty quickly because they weren't in the pits yet. We dropped down to P11, this is the info I can give you, but, and this is important and crucial, we are ahead of Kimi Räikkönen and Jenson Button, who already were in the pits, but they got held up by traffic, so staying out longer actually worked for us. On the other hand, that might be bad news for undercut plans on Lewis Hamilton, so yeah, we will need to see how this develops from here. As you can already see, we are getting closer to these three ahead. And they are quite busy in a battle of their own. Maybe we're lucky and one of them dives into the pits now. No, we're not. So we have to do it on track. We can open our rear wing, use curse, and let's see if we are already able to attack Michael Schumacher ahead of us. No, we are not. Not close enough at the beginning of the braking zone for turn 1. Ooh, once again, dirty air affecting us through turn 3. And this is now a bit of a tougher job for us. I think we really need to get a super good run out of the final corner to then try and attack them ahead of us. But yeah, they are in a battle of their own, so it's also risky to get involved into this. Of course, they don't have to let us pass just because we are on a different strategy and on fresher and faster tires. They have track position, and they won't yield, of course, because if any one of those yields, they might lose position themselves. So we have to do it all on our own. And now this is the crucial bit. Already we need to be ready to align for a move, and this looks pretty good now through the final corner. Oh, we're already almost too close to the back of Michael Schumacher there, but now a very, very good run on Schumi, so that should be enough. And we even gain on Rosberg and Perez, and we are very late on the brakes, trying to use the advantage of our fresh tyres, and it works. We leave enough space there for Rosberg around the outside, but now we move past, we overtake 3 cars in one go, and that might have been very, very crucial. This is now Lewis Hamilton coming out of the pit lane for his pit stop. On the top right, you can see us battling Nico Hülkenberg. This is now for the race lead. As you can see there in the foreground, we were passing Hülkenberg. We're now back into the race lead, and Hamilton comes out behind us in P3. Of course, Hülkenberg also yet to stop, but Hamilton now on the fresher tires might be able to catch back up to us again. And now this is at the end of lap 18, and you can already see the gap after Hamilton's pit stop was about 5 seconds-ish, and now it seems to be down to only seconds, but it's only a couple of laps to go. This is lap, sorry, did I say 18? It is, of course, lap 28, so not many laps to go. 33 laps in total in this race. But, yeah, this is the start of lap 29. Hamilton only 1.2 seconds behind us, and you can already see Alonso and Vettel, also with a late pit stop. They're closer to us as well. So, we need to wait and see how this develops. But this is surely going to be a very, very interesting final 5 laps here. Through 4 we go. Can we withstand the pressure of Lewis Hamilton? Oh, running a little wide, running out of road, crashing into the wall or touching the wall there. Oh no, and we're losing position now. Raikkonen through as well. This is Button. Webber also. Can we make it back onto the track? Yes, we can. We're struggling to do so, but we are now back on track. But down in P7, we've thrown the chance for victory here away in turn 5. This is the replay. Just a little late on the brakes and then getting one tire on the grass, and well, it just pulls us forwards into the wall. We don't get the turn-in done. So, in the end, it is another win for Lewis Hamilton, who is coming around the final corners here to take the checkered flag in Barcelona. Lewis Hamilton wins the Spanish Grand Prix 2012 ahead of Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel. And now let's also look at our finish. We come home in P7, at least some points for the Williams team, but it could have been a lot more. Definitely a podium, I think. Probably, maybe even the race win. But, well, it is what it is in the end. We messed it up. Sorry for Pastor, we didn't manage to repeat history. So now let's look at the full results of that 33-lap race. Lewis Hamilton wins ahead of Alonso and Vettel, we already mentioned that. Raikkonen comes home in 4th, Button 5th, Webber 6th, then ourselves, Maldonado in 7th, Hülkenberg 8th, Massa 9th, and Rosberg 10th. So these are the point scorers today. And let's look how this would have affected the championship in our 2012 mini-series. Well, actually, it wouldn't have had any effect at all on the top 6, because they finished exactly as the championship standings were. So Hamilton still in the lead ahead of Alonso, Vettel, Raikkonen, Button and Webber. Kobayashi manages to still stay in 7th despite not scoring points today. Hülkenberg moves past Rosberg and Schumacher and is now 8th. And then we have Massa, Perez, Grosjean, Maldonado. We get close to Maldonado, but we don't manage to pass him because Grosjean had the better finish this season. Senna then 15th, Ricciardo and Di Resta with 1 point in 16th and 17th respectively. And then Kovalainen and Petrov still without any points. For the Constructors' Championship, also no real changes there. McLaren still stays ahead of Red Bull, Ferrari, Lotus, Mercedes, Sauber, Force India, Williams, Toro Rosso and Caterham, the only team that hasn't scored a point this season. Well, and that has been it. And I must say, I really, really enjoy this track. Of course, Barcelona, you know it from so many different tracks, but it is also always great to see new tracks in Automobilista too and discover them there as well, because, well, they've done a very, very good job, as I already said, in my opinion. And, yeah, I really enjoyed this race, and, yeah, looking forward to see more on this track, or do more races on this track. And that has been it from me, and, yeah, I hope to see you all soon. Until the next time, goodbye.